If you've been following this channel for a while, you probably already know that I love chronographs. Layouts like this, bi-compacts. You got a Panda, reverse Panda, really well made, and in fact, coming out of Germany, this company Sinn seems to produce watches with excellent tolerances, amazing legibility and functionality, and these three pieces here are no different. And when I do get watches like this on the channel, it makes it very difficult not to want to buy everything that comes in your hands, because these look absolutely amazing. Let's check them out. Now the watches in question are celebrating the 25-year anniversary of the 356 Pilot Classic, from 1998 to 2023. And although at first glance these watches look the same, they're not. These two here are spec'd exactly the same, and this one is completely different. And it doesn't even look it. You might say first impressions, it doesn't look different. Let me explain. Out of the three, this particular one is actually a limited edition. It's limited to 500 pieces, and as they say, the devil is in the details. For argument's sake, the case itself is a satinized finish. If you look just above the 6 o'clock, you can see that the word Flieger Classic is printed on that dial. You've also got an applique Sinn logo at the 12. The dial itself is configured in a bi-compacts layout with matte silver subdials, and it's also got an anthracite electroplated finish dial. The handset is rhodium plated and lume filled, and one of the heroes on this watch is that crystal. It's a high dome sapphire crystal with AR coating on both sides. It's actually been ground out of a 5mm thick block, and the finishing and execution is beautiful. It's really well done, I'm impressed. Secondly, if we turn the watch case over, you've also got a sapphire exhibition case back to showcase that Sellita SW510, nicely decorated, 56 hours power reserve, automatic chronograph beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour. And because these are pre-production versions, they've also sent me this booklet to see what they come with, and this particular watch, being limited to 500 pieces, comes with 2 locally manufactured ball leather straps and the packaging as seen. And I've got a bit to say about those straps shortly. Now looking at the dimensions of this watch, coming in at 38.5mm with a 45.3 lug to lug, it's a really nice footprint. The only real concern is that 15mm case height, but again we are dealing with a box sapphire crystal which elevates the height by several mil, nothing to really be concerned about. And looking at the overhead on the wrist, the watch is superb. The footprint is great at 38.5. The supplied ball leather straps are a little bit firm and do require quite a bit of braking time, so I've decided to actually swap out the straps and put my own straps to match. Just for comfort, for wearability, to be able to see how that watch wears on the wrist. And as you can see, the comfort and wearability on the wrist has been superb. That box dome sapphire crystal features anti-reflective coating on both sides, and it seems to be doing a really good job as well. But moving away from that, if we have a look at these other watches, this matte silk white dial variant is extremely legible. As you can see, the handset is gloss black, accompanied by black Arabics and lume plots. These two other models, as I mentioned, are different. They both feature vintage style domed acrylic glass, as well as solid casebacks. And in doing so, the overall height that I measure on these comes in at 15.6mm. Slightly more pronounced than the limited edition version. However, again, if you look at that glass, that crystal, that looks to me about 4.5mm of domed acrylic goodness. Some people love it, some people don't. It does create a really nice distortion on the extreme edges, as you can see. Harkens more to that vintage style era. And another main difference to the actual limited edition version is that these cases are bead blasted. If we have a look at this last variant, same specs as that white one. However, as you can see, you've got a brownish fume dial and what looks like old radium style lume. The specs are the same, the crystal's the same, the caseback's the same, obviously on a different coloured strap. And speaking of that lume, if we look at all three watches together, a lot of people ask me when I show lume shots, "Oh Pete, the lume is blue and yet ideally it should be green." And in some cases that works out because I shine my UV light on the watches, as you can see now. But when I switch that UV light off, then the watches glow in their true colour. And in this case, it's green. So if you ever see any of my videos and you see blue lume and you've got the watch and your watch is green, the lume is green. Just sharing that with you guys. Now before I get onto the gripes of this watch, I've completely forgot to say thank you very much to Peter from Defined Watches, because he was kind enough to send these three watches down for me to have a look at. I'm a huge Sinn fan. I've had several Sinns over the years. I still have one or two in my collection. I love them. And as I mentioned, it's very hard to not buy watches as soon as they come in, because it's like, oh no, I'm smitten. And I'm not going to tell you which one is my favourite. I'll let you guys figure that one out. Nonetheless, what are my gripes of these watches? First and foremost, those leather straps, although they look super robust and long wearing, for me, they're a little bit firm and they're going to require a decent break-in period. So I didn't bother wearing them on these straps. I swapped all of them out. I placed them on my own straps, stuff that I had lying around that I thought would suit these watches even better, just for different variety and style. Second gripe, well, it's sort of a gripe. Some people do not like acrylic crystal. They don't like the fact that it scratches, it's soft, and in these cases, they're quite pronounced. Others love it. They do add some thickness to the actual watch itself. But again, like I said, the majority of the upper limit is taken up by that dome, which does create a vintage style distortion on that dial edge. So you're either going to love acrylic or not. Similar to an Omega Speedmaster, the originals were acrylic. They still offer it in acrylic, just for the purists, and that's what we've got here. One more gripe, the Lume. It's decent, it's not exceptional. However, these are Pilot watches. I'm not expecting dive watch territory in that Lume department, so the fact that they are Pilot watches, the Lume is okay, it's doing a decent job. Lastly, is the premium of $1,000 Australian worth it from these two models to this one? Well, just summing up, you've got a sapphire crystal, sapphire exhibition case back, applique logo, you got rhodium plated handset, it comes with two leather straps and a specialized box, and unfortunately, and I do say unfortunately, it is limited to 500 pieces, and that's a damn shame. But thanks again to Peter for sending out these watches. They have been a real delight on the eyes, and getting watches in the hand and looking at them and experiencing them, they are different to what you see on a website. The footprint's been great, the legibility's been good on all three, functionality and performance unquestionable, especially with our screw down crowns, 100 meters of water resistance, really well built, coming out of Germany, and something to enjoy. So I'm really happy that I got these on the channel for you guys to have a look at. If you're in Australia, you want to have a look at these, get on Define's website. Peter is up in Noosa. I'll leave all the links in the description. A big thank you to him for supplying the watches so we can have a closer look. Hit me up in the comments. If you're a Sinn fan, let me know which is your best variant, what you think is the nicest looking watch here. I know which one mine is. And that's the beauty of this hobby. We all love different types of watches for different reasons. And that's what makes it so special. Thanks again for watching. Be well, and we'll see you in the next one.